I really don't think there's too many more junglers that can really activate for the Arlet. So now for Geltek, they need a very heavy front line here because Lapu can dive, Aulus can stay in the front, but not alone. He needs a friend. So what is going to be a good friend here? I think a Gatot would be quite well. Other than that, am I missing something here? Atlas is banned, Belric has already been picked.
I don't think there's room for Minotaur.
They go for the... Okay. Listen. I know there's a lot of NT tanks from the side of Vitality, but the Glorious Pathway negates the slows coming in from the RWM, so maybe. And here's the thing, Geltek, they want to play how they usually play, which is force fights. I move forward, you fight me back. You die, I die, someone wins.
Which is why the Belric is still really good in this matchup.
Yeah.
Because that's what they want. They want people to dive onto him. So I'm surprised with the next picks as well. I'm surprised with the Valentina pick. Obviously, you can pick up the real-world manipulation. It could definitely put things in your direction. And you can also copy the ultimate from Arlet. So there is creativity and playability for this Valentina to work.
Yeah, and now the Nolan gets picked up. So again, the story of the entire series here, win fast, lose fast. Although I do have to say, this time, both teams have pretty solid scaling. So we might actually go to the late game, maybe 70 minutes.
Will the lights finally go out on the dark horse roster run of Geltek Cyber Team? Or will the sun shine on them one more time to force a Game 5? Or is this when Team Vitality shuts the door on their competitor, moves forward to Grand Finals, and once again secures a championship? All that and more to figure out as we head in to Map 4. It's Team Vitality versus Geltek Cyber Team. Brigida, Gideon, let's see what Map 4 is to bring.
And we're excited to bring you all the action here from the land of Dawn right to your screens here at MWI. The defending champions, as already put, with a composition that's looking pretty good, but I gotta give it to Geltek. That second half really caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting the Valentina and the Hylos to really pull this comp together.
It completely changed our impression of how the game could potentially go, simply because I think it was also able to, if not balance out what we thought were lacking, but also complement the idea that we were expecting from them. It's looking like a really rundown type of composition that you could just expect to fastly move around the team fights.
Yep, speaking of fastly move, we're already seeing right here, right now, they want the Lethal Wanderer bad, but Nolan is nowhere to be seen. With that, that's going to give you plenty of information as we see Nolan going vertically into enemy territory.
Oh, they're gonna not meet here in the purple buff. They were completely aware of the movements, and Guejo's probably gonna catch it a bit too late.
That's okay. It's still at least retribution away, and then you're gonna run. And there's nothing you can do. Yeah. Nolan's particularly hard to catch in the early stages of the game, and now that he has purple buff, even more so. But now we start looking towards Fumiko's lane. A really nice freeze and a good call by Liu Leon to say, hey, you know what? Get your boy, get everybody here. We're expecting another engagement. Help me get this wave out, and then we can go back to neutral states.
Yeah, they're playing it both aggressively on the sides, but they are not overstaying for too long enough to get punished because GCT, seemingly with the rotations that we've been discussing or with the lineup that they have, could be quick to do just that in order to provide some respo. We're seeing once again another attempt potentially up top, but Vival has different plans in mind. Vivian and Vival are just trying to scout out Kyoe.
Yep, I mean, for the longest time, Kyoe was already revealed on the map, and Vival right now has some decent damage, but needs to catch Kyoe without her cooldowns. It's the only way they're going to be able to make this work.
That's what I'm thinking. Does Vival actually burst down Kyoe, especially if they catch them off guard as the Nolan? Because I feel like that could be one of the go-to plans for Vitality if they want to make things a bit more simpler on their end.
They absolutely can, but they need Vival to have a lead first. Damage reduction is a really powerful stat, and only very few heroes actually have access to them. Luckily, we got two of them already in the Lapu Lapu and the Aulus, making it a really big difference in how long these fights are going to go. Man, that Concussive Blast is doing a lot of damage.
Yeah, they poked down Cindy to half HP, forcing her to recall even before this objective. I think at least Chell has been able to double lane to a certain extent, so Vitality are just really focusing on the farm, at least for now. But oh, wait, Vival might find Tokyo here, but at least, Tokyo does get to find a way out with a flicker.
Oh, luckily, denied that second wave, and this will mean that the grab does go over into Claude's hands. Now the next fight begins.
Liubon, bravest fighter, Vival's actually very low. Vitality have very little ways to contest this, but do they actually find a way around it? It's a no. Kyoei still secures it with the retribution. Vivian has to flicker out, but Liubon and Kyoei are actually going for the chase. That's gonna be first blood for GCT.
Okay, not bad. At least they get one into Vivian. Not exactly ideal to lose one of your team members, but at least Vivian hit 4 before she went down. Timers are still very low. 4 seconds, she's already back up, and now attacking on the bottom side. Guess what? Claude ain't that easy, especially with fighter emblems. So much sustain.
But I think that was a huge advantage, really, that GCT got to make out of that simple poke they got to do onto Cine, and even the reaction from Vival. So now they've somewhat gotten a bit more control across the map, but Kyoei looking very low. Still not enough to take her down.
Yep, the people who want to burst her down can't catch her without the cooldown. Everybody else just doesn't have enough burst to finish her off. And even so, we see that GCT, honestly, this has been a very honest game from both sides. No sly movements, no overly thought out plans. It's very straightforward. We're looking to play it and keep it simple. Vitality. So far, we've only seen the biggest play, Vival trying to catch out Tokyo. I don't know if they're going to be able to do that again, but they're readjusting to move a lot of their forces to the top side of the map.
Yep, we might see a bit more of that come, especially here towards the purple buff. Vitality are not letting go of this push. Quejo already has to deal with a bit of damage, but now they're going to respond back with the glorious pathway. Vival, though, just goes right in. There's a cleaving axe as a response from Kyoei, and I think they deny the purple buff, and the real world manipulation too falling into place. The stuns from Liubon are actually going to connect. They find the trade onto Vival, and now City and Vivian just have to escape, but do they have the tools? This is Liubon going for the chase. The stun lands, and that's another kill over to GCT.
Beautifully played by both sides, but most impressively, Liubon was able to respond in time to catch all 3 of the members into the Raging Slash after the bravest fighter, and now they look for turrets.
Oh, Fumieko does use the final slash. Will get away safely, but is very low on HP. Might not be able to set up for this turtle, and even Vival doesn't seem to be ready for this just yet. Vivian will be showing up, however, and City is back too.
Oh, they're trying to zone them out here, and they successfully do so. They get, oh no, not a full reset. And unfortunately, Vitality will take the turtle off of that. GCT, a little unlucky there, but so far this is why Yves is one of the best mages that we have in the meta. Are they going to be able to catch this?
Oh, they give up that tier 1 down bottom in exchange of the turtle, since Chell had to participate in that too. Warak's pickup already there for Fumieko. Could Vitality potentially be a bit more aggressive now in terms of the team fights? Because so far, based on what we've been seeing, it's more of like a back and forth between GCT, but it's always GCT being the first to actually position themselves.
Yeah. And better yet, they've been taking the initiative as well, right? They're not just going to take it lying down anymore. They're continuously trying to find opportunities. Vival looking to intercept Tokyo.
Oh.
Rest of them zoning them out. Vivian has flicker, so she's going to be fine, but that's a pretty big battle spell to lose. This top side, they find it. Great patience from Vival.
Vivian did burn the flicker there, but I think her passing through that route eventually allowed Vitality to get away safely too, but that was a much more favorable trade for them. They definitely got a kill and turret up top, which probably could hand back the lead towards Vitality this time, but Wrath of Dryad already forced out of Vivian! Fracture coming in from Vival, and now they just focus on Kyoei! The strength of the real-world manipulation is something you're really seeing when Vitality decides to punish.
Yeah, but GCT, they got to make sure that they do their due diligence, right? They got to remember, if Vitality's making like a, oh, if we think this person is solo, would a solo player be walking up this far up? Never at this level of play, never in high level, unless they're trying to get into your head. Then there's another layer to add.
This is currently a lead that's already back in Vitality's hands. It's just continuously going to grow from this point onwards as we look at Chell already prioritizing the DHS on the Claude. So you could really expect that they might be prioritizing a bit more of the fights early on rather than just scaling in a bit more of the macro. Oh, but the Glorious Pathway is already used by Quejo here.
They just want to make sure they get out of this safely, right? They don't. It looks like they're not going to go for the contest because they don't have the first position. Neither do they have enough information about whether or not they can walk through Tribe Rush or maybe through mid lane. It's just not worth the risk, especially after what Tokyo had to go through. Down by bot side is going to be a upward spiral for Kyoe, right? Just gonna have to farm as much as she can. Unfortunately for a hero like Aulus, the jungle just isn't enough. Similarly like Nolan, you gotta go into the wave every once in a while.
But this Nolan also picked up the Malefic gun just now. So you could expect a lot more damage. It's currently being surrounded though, but there will be help. Vivian too, coming from behind! That Wrath of Dryad, the final slash did not connect, but I think it's gonna be enough to at least take down Coelho. GCT did not expect that quick rotation to come in from Vitality, and they still want more. Vivian going for the chase. Echo dashing in with a vengeance. Chell who ends up blazing duets. Fractures from Vitality. Damages everywhere to take down 3 from GCT.
Real unfortunate here. Oh, hey, Luon, they're going to make a try, but unfortunately, if you're not going to commit the flicker, it's just not enough.
Oh, Tokyo too, trying to find a trade. She does find Echo, but they lose out on too much.
I mean, at this point, Vitality understand they've all the early game heroes who've hit their power spikes, they're ready to go. But even better, if we pull up the item list, I'm fairly confident that Vival is already like 2, maybe 2.5 items, arguably 3 items at this point.
Yep, we get to check that later on as Coelho just tries her best to clear this minion wave in mid, and there you have it.
2.5 items, now slowly building up. Oh, whoa, Chell, let's calm down here. Yeah, it'd be a really bad time to give over a shutdown over to GCT at this point of time, because we look at GCT's items, right? Lubon is kind of the only one who can really compete with some of the members of Vitality. It really depends on the advantages. On the opposite end, Kyoe, 2 items, but not enough attack speed to really start benefiting off of all the extra benefits from Aulus. Not to mention that just going to go for the endless battle. Just need a little bit more burst to sustain through the power, sustain through the pain.
Yep. So at this point, it's really Lubon who you probably expect to lead the charge, if any, for GCT. But do they really want to risk it at this point? Because they get spotted out in mid. There goes the real final slash, already committed onto Coelho, but that's just space. That's just time that Vitality are able to buy.
And they move away. 3.4, 3.6 now as it continues to skyrocket for Vitality. I'm expecting it to end up closer towards 6 to 7K. The 7K depends on whether or not a fight breaks out, but 6K if they get all the outer turrets from this point onwards.
Yeah.
And I think that Vival, very happy with everything that has happened. Nobody can stop him, right? There is only one Kyoe. Nobody else has a point-and-click stun. And even for Sanj, still needs to apply the Terrify 2 times to trigger it to happen with a Shadow Strike. So, I don't know. Vitality, the way that they're going in and out of these fights, it's just too much to deal with.
I guess at most it's if you get the Wrath of Dryad or the final slash, but Vivian actually goes in to use it first. They really want to take the space turret. Chell trying to focus down on this objective, but still GCT are heavy on the defense. Kyoe pushing them away. Lubon jumping in with the bravest fighter, but the Land Shaker does not connect onto anyone. GCT are forced to disengage.
Unfortunate. They really needed that Land Shaker to connect to Cine. But now, underneath the turret, there's still a possibility of that final slash. And I'm waiting for that big play by Fumieko, but I think that Vitality says, hey, calm down, girl. Not right now. Not right now. Wait till the next Lord. I guarantee you GCT is going to walk out.
I think they're trying to constantly remind each other to just not give any openings to GCT, especially now that we're finally seeing that 6 to 7K gold lead that you've previously mentioned as expected. But even the panel too, they also brought up a point about this potentially getting to the 16 to 17-minute mark, but I am not sure if Vitality want to make it to that point, especially now that they're looking at a lineup which could really heavily scale into the late game.
Well, there's only 2 ways that can happen. Either number 1, Kyoe somehow steals the Lord, this next upcoming Lord. It's the second one that's spawning, by the way, so it is kind of difficult to chunk down, especially since Vitality are all over level.
Wait, speaking of all over the place, they're actually trying to pick a fight here in the orange buff. Kyoe already bursted down heavily by the damage coming in from Vival, whereas Fumieko trying to go in a 1v1 versus Tokyo, but the blazing duet from Chell! She barely made it out alive there, but the damage is going to be enough. Vival trying to go for more targets. There goes another kill onto Tokyo, or Kyoe as well. Did GCT really want to fight them there?
Honestly, looking at everything, GCT came out on top.
Yeah.
They were 6.6k down, got an even 50-50 trade against their opponents, used the same amount of battle spells, the same amount of ultimates, and yet came out despite the huge economic lead coming in from Vitality. We'll have to look at the spread of where the gold actually is. I'm guessing most of it is actually on Vival, but a really good attempt because now, by the time the Lord actually spawns, it's a full reset.
Come to think of it, it's actually surprising that Vitality seem to have used, if not all, most of their resources just to get those kills against GCT. Even the entries from Chell with the Blazing Duet felt like it took a bit too long before we could actually feel majority of the damage to come through. But at least Vitality still get the advantage in terms of the allure.
The Lord was inevitable. I would have liked to see GCT actually do the exact same move, but just maintaining that distance constantly, playing the footsies against Vitality just to make sure, hey, you may get first position, but at least we know all of your first positions.
Okay. I think somehow the damage is a bit more expected to come through. That the Lightning Trencher already locked in for Sonj. And Tokyo's already completed the Trinity as well for this carry. But I think the question remains, what does Sonj actually pick up for the IMU to really make sure that they get at least an advantage against Vitality in terms of the counter engage? Is it really the Wrath of Dryad that they could really make the most out of, or could it be the final slash?
I don't know. I'm thinking
RWM?
I think it has to be the RWM. There's just nothing else like it, especially when you have a glorious pathway on your side. At least you can slow them down, but here comes the next upcoming fight. I don't know if Vitality want to commit to this right now, because they still have that second wave, but now, look at Vival, literally playing with their food. Keep in mind that a majority of that 9k lead is because of Vival.
Oh, that's spicy. Liubon trying to take on this 1v1, but there's also a separate team fight happening in mid. Kuejo right under the real world manipulation as Liubon goes down in the hands of Vival. And that's exactly what we were asking. This is such a brave decision to come in from Liubon, but at least they get to defend the base.
This is disgusting. Disgusting stuff coming out from Vival right now. And the rest of the team is working like a well-oiled machine, denying space, making sure that nothing feels safe. It feels like GCT, every time they open up a bush, it's a minefield out there.
Yeah, who do you actually send to do that? It's mostly supposed to be Kuejo, right? Already having to pick up the immortality as well, but even then the burst damage might be a bit too much to handle. The final slash gets touched somehow here by Kyoei, but even as she just tried to clear, you could see how difficult she had to how the difficulty she had to deal with in terms of surviving the damage from Vitality.
Yeah, but now Vitality, they crack their knuckles, they sit back. We got the 9k lead, guys. The next Lord is where we must end it. First, we need to make sure that GCT doesn't get to the 42k mark comfortably, right? They're going to eventually hit it. There's no going around that, but we can make their life a living hell.
No one's aware that Vival's there in that bush too. GCT have seemed to understand that they might need to group together a bit more, and there have been some movements down bottom, but they just can't confidently push further. They have barely little idea of where Vitality are currently positioned at the map.
Oh my goodness. After looking at the damage dealt and damage taken, it's kind of difficult to argue that GCT doesn't have enough damage, but the truth is they just don't have enough items. They don't have enough gold. And finally, the Malefic Roar is out for Kyoei.
Oh, Kumieko going in, tries to dive, goes for Sonjke. Sonjke steals away the final slash, but they're still yet to go for the counter engage. Just challenge Viva from the back! They make sure that this is gonna be a clean wipeout! Immortality pop for Kuejo. She's the only one left alongside Liubon, but it's a maniac and it's a potential savage once again! Vival takes 2 savages in this series as they walk their way to the grand finals potentially!
Oh my goodness. What a game this was. From not only outplays, we finally come to the outclass. The title defenders are here and are wanting to stay. Welcome to the grand finals. We missed you here.
The MWI champions of 20